On this fine morning, I'm going to speak very frankly and openly with you all, without mincing any of my words here today. I'm going to speak quite bluntly, and without any gloves on as well. I am truly going to get in the ring and box. Just remember, you have been warned about this. I think there are high expectations from people everywhere, in every region we visit. I can say that the needs are pretty much the same everywhere. We have practically the same situation in every region we go to. So this is to say that we are aware of the situation, we know the problem. As someone said, we know the illness, and everything we are doing today is to cure it. There is a lot to be done, and as I have always said, I can't solve everything with the snap of a finger. It's not possible. But we are making the efforts we can. We are making sacrifices so that we can achieve our goals as quickly as possible. And if we made the collective decision to finally embark on this mission, it's because we sincerely believed that it was absolutely essential for our people to experience true and lasting happiness as well. We keep saying it over and over again. We were born into conditions that were perhaps challenging and far from easy. As we grew up, we saw Burkina with our own eyes. And we also caught glimpses of other countries through international news broadcasts and various media reports. And maybe we traveled to some countries in the meantime and we saw the realities there. And we also asked ourselves questions. Why? Why can't our country also develop and prosper like those countries? As I said last time, there is no reason why in some countries that have just discovered maybe oil in less than 30 or 40 years, everything changes completely. But why is it that in Africa we are not able to do the same thing, even though beneath our soil there is oil and other types of minerals? Take the example of Dubai, which is nearby. 30 years ago, there were only 1 or 2 buildings in the city. Today, I am sure that many people here from the private sector enjoy taking a flight to Dubai to do business. They never miss the chance to make a short video to show off the beauty of the city. Buildings have sprung up everywhere, all over the place. All of this just because of oil exploitation. But how many countries in Africa exploit oil? Have they experienced this kind of development? So there is a question we need to ask ourselves. Here in Burkina, we exploit gold and many other minerals, even though we haven't discovered oil yet. But what have we done? So I also came here so that we can ask ourselves questions, and the real ones today. Not just as a Burkinabe, but as an African. Let us ask ourselves questions, and the right questions. And to be a nation, we need discipline, as I said. We need selflessness. We need to have a goal to focus on. And that's what we're going to discuss at length. If we don't have a goal, we'll wander aimlessly and won't know where we're going. And if we also don't know where we come from, we have no reference points. It's like someone in the middle of a desert with no landmarks. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. No, we need to have reference points. And to have reference points, we need to go back and question history. And we must not hide any part of our history. And we should also make sure that Stockholm Syndrome does not become a common illness among all Africans. You've likely heard of Stockholm Syndrome. It is a psychological condition where the person who actively harms you ends up being deeply loved, cherished, and fiercely protected by you in the end. You understand? That is to say, the aggressor, the one who harms you, who undermines you, you end up even loving him, defending him, protecting him. Many people are affected by this Stockholm Syndrome, whether it's here in Burkina or in Africa in general, because Africa has suffered a lot. And people have tried to erase Africa's history. And many people don't even know the history of Africa. Yet we must not remain ignorant. We need to know our history in order to know where we are going. Africa was not always like this. Let's acknowledge that. I told you once, if our ancestors in our bushlands as we walk around, we see that the ancestors were able to take the earth and extract iron from it. But why is it that today we can't do it? It's because we've lost something along the way. And what have we lost? How did we lose it? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Once we ask ourselves these questions and find the answers, we are cured of our illness, the Stockholm Syndrome. And these questions, we must ask them bravely and face them head on. And as I said, we are not politicians. We don't avoid problems. We face problems and solve them. We don't just move them elsewhere. There are many topics in our societies that we want to address. These taboos, these things. As soon as the police say, if you mess around, you're going to lose your electoral base, we're going to address this topic, we're going to tell the truth. And then, well, if you like it, that's how it is. If you don't like it, that's how it is too. But this is our story. And we need to remember our story, where we come from, what was done to us that made us this way. This is a big rant that I'm going to deliver to all black people, if I can put it that way. Our enemies are among us. And that brings me to give you a general piece of advice. You see, we're in a revolution, and we've chosen a path, and people need to stay focused. A lot of people say they're focused, that they're revolutionaries, but it's still you who go and follow those stateless people's pages and believe what they're saying. And you get worked up, you worry. And you end up in states of, why? Stay focused. I've heard a lot of noise lately and everything. And again, you yourselves, you contribute to creating maybe even problems without realizing it. You see, we launched a diaspora operation, however. Often we carry out these operations to test the reliability of our state. Do people invest in our country or not? You can see that we got more than we wanted. And it's during this period that all the communications like, things aren't going well in Burkina, we're being attacked here, things aren't right at the top of the state, they're doing this, they're doing that, and a lot of people are worried, they're calling us about all sorts of things. I'm going to tell you one thing, and let this be clear in everyone's mind. The context we're living in now is not the same as in 1987. Everyone who works with me knows my code of conduct. I have a mission. And they all follow the mission. That's why we're here. And if someone messes up, I'll deal with you without hesitation. There's no point in saying, it's just him alone. There are no strongmen, there aren't any, and I'm coming back to you again. The business operators who often say you have to go negotiate with someone because he's strong, there are no strong men with me. No, stop that. Because it's you who put these ideas into some people's heads, and people can really start to believe they're strong. If you step out of line, if you display anti-revolutionary behavior, I will punish you immediately. Everyone should have enough to eat, as the person in charge of the elderly said. I'm very happy to hear that we are eating in the present tense and the indicative. That's something to be proud of. But we used to spend our time ordering, people would come and give us food, that's how it was. Lately, many countries have been coming to us for their humanitarian aid. I say, but wait, what's going on? Your humanitarian aid comes in and goes out here. We have our dignity to defend. There are things we no longer accept. Go ahead, give it somewhere else. We don't need your aid. There's none of that here. So that means they have other motives. It's not really about aid. It's like someone said, if you want to help a father because his children aren't doing well, why would you come? And then you don't give the father the discretion to handle the aid. You want to go give it directly to the children, saying the fathers are useless. That's what you mean. That doesn't work. Our culture doesn't accept that. So they've used many channels to enslave us. I'm talking about NGOs. Infiltration into our habits through many channels. We will not accept it. Because every single bit of this strategy is to keep us down and to more effectively plunder our valuable resources. It's time for all of us to understand that our resources should be used so that everyone can have access to clean drinking water. You mentioned water problems. But should we keep encouraging those who drink champagne at the expense of everyone else just to have clean drinking water? We cannot accept that. But very often what happens? When we ourselves fight against those who have champagne so that everyone can have clean drinking water, the one with champagne pays the one who doesn't have water to drink, to sing instead of standing up against you. And you accept it too. Behuin, has this happened or not? Hey, let's pull ourselves together. There have been problems in Wayuya for years, but they're going to be resolved right away. In any case, I was the Prime Minister who launched the construction work last time. I passed by this morning and saw the pipes coming in force to Wayuya. There's a dam that needs to be built, and that's what's going to help supply all of Wayuya. So the problem in Wayuya will be resolved soon. I won't have water problems anymore. The years spent with yellow jerry cans, as you said, are over. God willing, it will end. All of this is the meaning of our struggle. It's about dignity. We don't want our mothers to have to sleep in front of wells. It's exhausting at impossible hours just to fetch a jerry can of water to feed the family. Come on, we're rich, we need dignity. And wealth must be shared, and this is what sharing wealth looks like. And that also brings me to a bit of a rant. Some people who are here today, as I was saying about gold and all that, gold is everywhere, it's chaos. People are killing each other over gold. Stop it. The government is going to take control of the situation because so many people are going out to extract gold. First of all, we're destroying our environment in a completely chaotic way. And when they're done, many go off and buy vehicles. Take 1,000 people who go out and buy vehicles worth 20 million each. That's 20 billion we've just handed over, just like that, somewhere. Yet we don't even have roads to drive on. When you leave Yakub to go to Ouagadougou, there are no roads. But are we building roads or what are we doing? So we need to talk to each other, understand each other, and be able to build together. Everyone will get their share, but let's avoid squandering our own wealth ourselves. Do you understand me? This is just the introduction, so you can get a sense of where I'm coming from. Because I'm going to shock you today. And shock for me. So let's get back to the topic. You need to understand the overall context. What do these people want from us? And what do we ourselves want for ourselves? That's what this is about. I'm going to tell you two things that will bring us back to all these points we need to discuss. You know, within our four walls, there are things that are said with those who come to see us. Often when we don't feel like saying something, we choose the right moment to say it. Today, I'm going to tell you two stories. And about these stories, I will comment so that you understand that we must fight, and above all, we must be smarter. Because what awaits us is serious if we don't understand. Yes, during the last interview, I said that one day I would talk about something concerning local consumption and everything related to it. One day, people from the secret services of a Western country came to see us. They offered us products, 4 products, to put in food and send to areas where there are terrorists. These products can be put in everything, in drinks, whether it's beer, sweets, cigarettes, rice, milk. They can be put in anything. And one of the products, its purpose is to destroy the brain. That is, so that the person can no longer think. It gradually shuts down. Your neurons, well, in any case, it messes you up. And after a few years, the ability to think, to do things is gone. One of the products affects physical ability. If a person was able to run 12 kilometers, after a few years it might be 6 kilometers, 4 kilometers. They become weak. Another effect is drowsiness. They start to become, I don't know, doctors know exactly what it affects and everything. We listened carefully. We asked about the north of Corbeil. They forgave us. And they left. But before they left, we asked them, have you ever tried this somewhere else? Does it work very well? If not, why should we pay and do this, since they were the ones who came to offer it to us? It's so that in areas where there are terrorists, those individuals become weakened, and in a short time, in a few years, we can easily crush them. They told us that yes, they have already used this somewhere else. In Africa, such as in Annecy and Ghanouan, we have already studied this several times. You know what gave me chills? I said, yeah, Africa is doomed. In fact, they're already using this in Africa. That's a certainty. Just look at certain populations, even here among us, look at the behavior of some people, the reactions of some. Look at young men today. Our grandparents had 4 wives, 5 wives, 10 wives. They were able to satisfy them. Today, is it true or not? It's not true. This is the revolution. Nothing is hidden. Whatever can be said to have must be said. That's the reality. Look at young people today. They're here, they have problems. Things aren't going well. Look at the problems with having children. People are here. Miscarriages, problems with having children, it's coming in, it's going out. Do you think that's for nothing? Look at some countries in Africa, you can check the statistics. There are countries that are 2, 3, even 4 times bigger than Burkina, but they don't have the population of the Wabaloo. They're coming to an end. Hey, Africans, aren't we going to wake up? Can't we work for ourselves, feed ourselves, and keep consuming what comes from elsewhere? And we don't even know what's inside it? And what's the stupidity of the African? Often black people themselves come out and say that the stuff sold in Africa isn't the same as what's sold in Europe. Who knows what they've put in it? We've seen the scandal with Nestlé, Nido, and others. The milk they sell to their children over there isn't the same as what they sell in Africa and all that. But black people, they don't agree. No. He wants to consume what comes from his own place. This is to tell our mothers that consuming local products is a battle. And that's why we want to think about doing all possible processing so that we consume what we produce and avoid importing things we don't know about. Because it's a serious problem. If they've been trying to wipe us out for so long, are you aware of that? People came. First, the Arab-Muslim conquest. That means more than 1,000 years of slavery in Africa. This part, by the way, that we are looking for is an easy part of our history. And many people don't know. They are ignorant of this. We endured more than 1,000 years of slavery with the Arabs. And the last slave market to take place, yes, was in Medina in 1962. Are you pretending, or do you really not know? And there, they castrated the men. The men ended up where they were castrated, so they couldn't have children anymore. That couldn't wipe out Africa. The Westerners came for 400 years. They deported us for labor, killed us in every possible way. But the black man always resisted. But why? It's today that we can't realize this, to resist and turn things around. Why? Because they traumatized us so much, brutalized us so much, that now we even love them ourselves. We love them more than we love ourselves. That's the Stockholm syndrome I was talking about. That's the problem. And if we don't become aware of this, we're lost. We're finished. Because they will keep finishing us off one way or another. And that's what I'm telling you here. Through products that are injected and all that. Look at black people. He loves those who attacked him yesterday more than he loves himself, his own person. That's the vizier. There are many of them among us. If you don't know the history, read. You'll see, no one loves us. We need to be aware of that. But what kind of foolishness is it to go seeking the love of someone who doesn't love you? Why, I was saying the other day to the Prime Minister, it was in 1994. In 1994, in France, here in India, there was an animal park called Bambula, Park Wesequala. An animal park, like the ones we have in Ziniari and in various other places. So people would go there to look at the animals, but you know what else was in those parks? Black people. Yes, about 30 Ivorians were there. And it was mainly Ivorians who were in the park to also represent a race of animals. In 1994, the park was still there. And it was white people who fought to have the park closed. It wasn't black people who fought for it. You don't know your own history. And here you are. You love those who oppressed you. Yeah. But we have that in common. Seriously, what is wrong with you? And that actually brings me to the second story I wanted to share. Back in the year 2023, I personally received some very interesting people. There was a gentleman in the group whom I call Daniel, a Frenchman, who said, "Mr. President, you know you are," the same famous phrase, "you are ahead of your time. What you want to do, your people will not understand you." And he said, "You see, Sankara, he was ahead of his time, he wanted to do good. But you see, when Sankara was killed, it went through as smoothly as a letter in the mail." That's the expression he used. Indeed, no one reacted. You agreed, you approved, even though there was no more reconciliation. Who went out to protest against Sankara's death? And I told him, yes, but it's not about changing, it's something else entirely. He told me no. He said to me, "Mr. President, black people are cursed." He excused himself to me, but said, "Black people are cursed. They will never be able to understand what you want to do. They will never be able to be consistent. You'll see. Normally, if I weren't president, they would leave with a few teeth missing, maybe." But I gripped tightly onto my chair, resolutely steeled my heavy heart, and remained sitting right there, absolutely refusing to listen to a single word. And he reassured me that you will never understand what I am going to do, and that a time will come when you will have to explain this. I thank them and say goodbye to them. You see, I remembered him not long ago. And on what occasion? Because this gentleman is from the DGSE. And you see, they orchestrated everything. They tried everything. All people want is civil war in Burkina. There, if you kill, they come to loot the order, it's all calm. There was a gentleman at the embassy here who fled before we expelled the embassy. Surely with the complicity of some people, I'm in the process of verifying. A certain Emmanuel, maybe he will hear what I'm saying. I know that he and the chargé d'affaires met with many people in the artistic world, the cultural world, and so on, to prepare minds, and especially also the world of communication. Because their goal is to act at the latest along the way, to put an end to our revolution. But for a long time, they have been manipulating all the topics: ethnicity, religion. These two subjects have always destroyed Africa. Look at all the wars in Africa. They are manipulated through religion, through ethnicity. And on social networks, you see it's manipulated every day. But Mr. Daniel had his own theory and strategy, which people over there did not accept. But more recently in these events, Daniel has stepped into the middle of this complex game. He proposed that they should start heading towards the east, cleverly leveraging the bonds of friendship to manipulate others through the lens of religion. And they are going to unleash the steamroller against Burkina Faso. Indeed. Then, one particular day, we hear about an imam who makes an incredibly sensational and controversial statement, to the point that, now, let me think, what exactly was it that he called me again? Abutia, hello, what's going on? Isn't he entrusted? Following that event, either the very next day or perhaps the day after, there is a relatively small minority of students who have started calling themselves the Bright Reds. Since there aren't many of them, they make statements on Facebook that have nothing to do with the situation. That's Daniel's plan. And I think those who should follow are the unions, who should also gather at the labor office to make statements, and hope to roll out the steamroller against them. When it was said to arrest that man in question, that's exactly what Daniel wanted, for him to be arrested. And if he's arrested, we'll see what happens next. By the way, that man is fundamentally bad. And he is fundamentally dishonest, and I'll tell you why. The law he spoke about, he read the law, he understood the law. Nowhere does it say that praying is forbidden in the workplace. Nowhere. But that's what he said. To manipulate the brainless people who will follow him. He wants to ban prayer. He wants to ban prayer. Me, I put a hand on my chest. But how is it even possible that people can be so easily manipulated and controlled without having even a single moment of self-reflection? That means he is very bad. It's not that he doesn't know, he knows. But he said that praying was forbidden. That's completely false. We said not to set up. You can pray in your office, you can go outside under a tree and pray. There's no problem with that. We did not ban praying. Even in public squares, it's not written anywhere in a... It's about performing it, not in public squares. We just said to get authorization, and so that we know that people are praying there. Imagine at the place where you're praying, the firefighters come by to get through to a fire, the road is blocked, etc. It's necessary that at the fire station, they can tell you every morning, normally, they receive the authorizations from the city hall for activities on public property, so that when they need to go out for interventions, they know how to get through. So we never said to take over public spaces for your own purposes. But this gentleman, he said that. Anyway, I'm not going to comment on what he said. But since he thought he was strong, he believed himself to be powerful. Because in 2019, he even created an Islamic police force. We don't know. And the politicians were afraid they did nothing. All right. I'll say it again, there can't be two captains on one ship. Whether it's Pierre. He's the one looking for trouble. He'll get his trouble. When he was arrested, what happened? People also took to the streets. Supposedly he's a supporter. Taking to the streets and social media, causing chaos. The police forces came out. They put an end to it. But what does that mean? That day I remembered Daniel. And I told myself right then, I really need to go back and try to remember and reflect on everything we talked about together. Are we really truly cursed, or are we not? At that time, I saw people making posts talking about religion being above the country. You leave the country, you go where you think you'll be welcomed because you're Muslim. It's that simple. But what nonsense is that? Everywhere you go in this world, the first thing they ask for is your passport, your national ID, your telegram. That's what allows you to enter somewhere. If someone thinks that religion can get them somewhere, they should just go. And we as Muslims, we need to be careful, we need to be moderate. And I appreciate that, because it's an extremist minority in this context. The majority, in fact, even the good imams, when we hear them preach about this, we will now encourage them. They are the ones who will teach people about Islam. But as for the radicals, we are not going to leave. If you are a radical, and you think that your country, and anyone who is beneath you in your religion, you leave, you go wherever you want. Are we cursed or not? That's the question I want us to ask ourselves today. I'm going to discuss a number of topics with you. And we're going to ask ourselves some questions. When we decided that everyone should have enough to eat, we paid for tractors, we paid for inputs, we made seeds, agriculture progressed, and we were able to produce well. And so, for the past few months, we decided to ban the import of semi-milled rice. Because we produced enough rice for us to be able to eat. And so the market is there to regulate it. But there are people who import rice who are not happy, and who told us that we are going to fail. And they pray to God every day that we fail. He prefers to take Burkina's money, go buy rice from farmers in Asia to bring it here, but he doesn't like it when it's our own farmers who benefit from it. Are we cursed or not? So there are people who are indeed cursed. This is not understood. You will detect through my words all those who have the curse gene in them. And as I keep saying, our big advantage is that the vast majority are not cursed. You understand? It's a minority that's in trouble. There are many areas where we want to make progress, But some individuals refuse to let us move forward because their own interests matter more than anything else. Me, I will never accept that. And if you don't stop in any case, we're going to go to war, and I will fight you. That's for sure, that's clear. It's the popular masses that matter. We can't just be here since we've existed here. You have all the advantages, you have everything. But please, people need to eat too. People need to live with dignity. But why would people fight against that? And they manipulate. And that's where I was saying not long ago, that those who have champagne, when we want everyone to have clean drinking water, they pay those who don't even have water to drink to fight against us. And often they accept as well, and they fight against us. Please, we need to think about the bigger picture. There are a lot of things. A lot of people used to come see us. They wanted Burkina to become an Islamic state. Terrorism would end, that's for sure. We would have peace, but we would be a rear base, a cancer in the middle of West Africa to destabilize the others. Me, I don't operate like that. You can't manipulate me like that. And when you demonstrate that you refuse to be manipulated, you become an enemy. There are things that I will still keep to myself, but if I have to reveal them one day, I will. But I'm saying this so that those who manipulate people, who don't think too much here, pay attention. Otherwise, we can go all the way and address the issue. Our country is our country, and we are here fighting for our country. No one loves our country more than we do ourselves. There are a lot of events. I was just talking about production and all that a moment ago. There are people who tend to make comments that undermine social cohesion and so on. And as I said, when this law was passed, it was us, the Muslims, who were the first to complain. Why aren't the others complaining? Why? But have we ever sat down and asked ourselves why? I think that if you want to attract someone to your religion, it's your behavior that matters, right? You can make someone feel sorry for you, but that's not the same thing. You can't force someone. Everyone is a creature of God. And if you think you are truly religious, you must love God's other creatures. Because you haven't given life to anyone. You can't create a human being. It is God who created all of us. You don't have the ability to create a human being, and yet you want to kill someone just because they don't follow you in your life. Why? But ask yourself the right questions. Are we cursed? However, if you take a look at the history of Christianity, many people in Europe are Christians and all that. In 2026 nowadays, do you hear about anyone wanting to kill their brother just because of a discussion like this? It's because of religion. He doesn't like his brother, he wants to kill his brother. Have you heard about that anywhere? Go to Saudi Arabia, which is the very cradle of Islam. Today in Saudi Arabia, do people fight? Do they want to kill each other because someone else isn't Muslim? But why is it that we, as black people, are so quickly ready to hate our own brothers and even ready to kill them just because he is different from us? It's gotten to the point where it's serious. Why are you ready to kill him when you're not even capable of giving life? And you know very well that God forbids you from killing him. True Muslims, when a mosquito bites them, aren't even allowed to kill it. They have to catch it and cut off one of its wings. That's what is said. So stop it. Instead of getting all worked up, yes, it's true that you are fighting against Islam. If that's what it is, if that's your version of Islam, then we will fight against that. That's not what it's supposed to be about. They say it's a religion of peace. But you extremists, you need to get a grip. If you don't get a grip, in any case, the fight has already begun. It's extremism that has led to terrorism. You say, no, the other person must be killed. Why? No, please, take it easy. Take it easy. There are even people like that. Anything someone does, they say, oh no, that's for the kafirs, that's kafir. Morale as if you created what exactly? The life. I'm saying it because it's true. We had some people suspended. Suspended from what? From preaching. That's right. We have suspended some people from preaching, haven't we? And it will continue. If people keep it up, it will continue. We will suspend them from preaching. If someone just goes out randomly, and once again I want to commend all those courageous, dignified, and patriotic imams who continue to preach the good word and awaken people's consciences. We see many of them, and we congratulate them, we encourage them. But as for the extremists, we will fight them. If you think you can live in the 7th century, then go. Find a bush, sit there and live. Since normally everything is haram, the water from Olea, the pipes, and what about that? It's a cafe that made it. That apple there, it's a cafe who made it. That light there, it's a cafe who made it. Even the microphone in you're speaking, it's a kafir who made it. You can't even understand that. And he goes out, he has a big vehicle, he drives, it's a kafir who made it. The plane you take to go over there, it's a kafir who made it. Anyway, let me get to the point. It's so you understand that this is the way imperialism wants to get through, to destroy us. And this is only the beginning. I insist on this because it's only the beginning. What's coming is even more serious. Yes, brace yourselves. We immediately talked about scholarships, about student pupils and all that. The Minister of Higher Education did very well to explain things clearly. People couldn't manipulate the situation. But let me tell you something. As I speak, we have more than 1,000 young Burkinabés. We are currently registering them in certain Arab countries. They are learning something there. According to the latest statistics, I counted 800 and some. I looked at the report. No one is aware of their departure. No one knows what they are doing. The embassies over there are not aware of them. And do you know what they are learning? Sharia, Islamic laws, and Islamic jurisdiction. None of those 800 and some people whose list I was shown last time has a single profession. Not a single one. They are coming to enforce Sharia or the WISIs. Do you see why it's important to control these two types? That's why I say this. The important phase is ahead of us. These people, I want to bring them back. Whoever doesn't come back is no longer Burkinabe. But we need to change. If we, that is, you imams here, cannot teach our youth about Islam, then it should be left alone. It's not about you. And I believe you can do it. And we ourselves will take these funds into account. Whether it's young Catholics, young Protestants, we ourselves will find a way, the traditionalists, we will finance everything related to religion ourselves. We need to note this, we will find a budget for it. Because many people are drawn to this just because of the money, nothing but the money. They receive the funding, they do what they have to do, we send the children out, they leave to learn Sharia, they come back and they want to apply Sharia. They spend 5 years, 7 years in indoctrination. And that's how it is. He comes back, he's like that. He says the other one found it halal. That's how it is. And in the end, the result is we'll be there among ourselves. We've been led to kill each other. And when they keep on looting, it's because they have to loot. Never, I don't want to allow that. So, those people who were there, I heard people saying, no, oh no, they supported me. What is that? If you supported me because of that, then don't support me anymore. That needs to be clear. But we have a goal, and we will reach that goal. All the humans that God created, we have a duty to love them. That's why when I sleep, I think about the unknown child. The child I don't know, who is in the farthest corner of Burkina, are all the children in Burkina sleeping? If they're not sleeping, then I can't get any sleep myself. Do all the children in Burkina at least have a meal to eat? If they don't have anything to eat, then I can't find any rest. And I will make sacrifices for that. So I will not let anyone come and divert us from our path. Never. And we need to become aware, I'm talking about Africans in general, about black people, about our history, about our current situation, because slavery is not over. People are still continuing slavery. You might not actually know this, but even today, in the year 2026, black people are unfortunately still being captured and held against their will. So they don't consider you as human beings. They see you as animals or things, but why us? Should we behave like animals as well? No, I refuse that. We need to give a strong response to these people now. Imperialism has no color. It's everywhere. And we must have the courage to identify and point it out, and then to fight against it. Look at how we behave. And that leads me to strongly encourage the younger generation once again to engage in deep reflection, to express their own creativity. You know that everything we do is important. Everything. Almost everything. Well, in Burkina now, I pray to God, thank you, things are going well. We have been able to maintain our way of doing things indefinitely. That means we can take cotton, weave it all the way to the finished cloth, and then wear it. We rinse it ourselves. Since we already have a dye, it works. Everything is imported. And then he's even proud to wear the imported jacket. He pulls on it, and he's happy. No, we need to change our behavior. We don't manufacture anything. And I was saying we're going to open up universities, technology centers, and all that, and we need to think. We need to think in order to create. If since the 1800s they have created engines, and to this day, the same P50 or CP engine, we are not able to make one ourselves. Doesn't that mean that when God created humans, He gave them the need to move around? He put all the resources at our disposal. The wind, the sun, the fire. These are the three most powerful things. On top of that, He gave us the earth and clay, the blood of the earth, which is oil, right, and iron. Iron is the component that gives us steel. He made all this available to us to make our lives easier. With earth and clay, we can farm, we can make cement, we can do so many things. Iron is that component. It's steel that goes into your concrete and everything else. And the blood of the earth is oil, which is the main energy source we have. But what have we black people done with all that? We are not able to take clay today and turn it into cement ourselves, because the factories, we have to pay for them. We don't manufacture them. We are not able to take crude oil today, to build our own refinery and refine it ourselves. We end up paying for the factory. We don't manufacture it. Today, we are not able to take the earth as it is and extract iron from it, add carbon, and make steel. Is that normal? But are we cursed or not? If we are not cursed, that means we should be able to do it. And that's what I want us to be able to do. We must be able to do it, to produce it ourselves. I was telling someone the other day, I said, if we're being honest, when you wake up in the morning, you should always be asking yourself questions. Suppose you sleep naked, you wake up, you grab a towel, it's imported. Your toothpaste, your toothbrush, they're imported. After all that, the clothes you put on, they're imported. Your accessories and everything is imported. We don't manufacture anything here. You go sit down for your breakfast, the teacup, everything, except maybe the sugar, which might come from here, everything is imported. You go to take your motorcycle, your car, it's imported. We don't manufacture anything in Africa. It's good to fight imperialism, but it's also important to tell ourselves the truth and wake up. And these are questions we need to ask ourselves. Why is it that we don't manufacture anything? Obviously people are here, the need to move around is here. But to get around all of that, whether it's the jokes we make, the motorcycles, the cars, the airplanes, we haven't created any of it. What is our usefulness? To communicate before, we used to take a horse. We would tell Waibe to go deliver messages to Yago. It was the horse we used and we would talk. The white man came, he created the telephone, the internet and everything. And us, what do? We just learn it, we film ourselves, we do whatever with it, we insult each other, we do everything. And then we're happy, even though we haven't created anything. We don't even know how it works. The guys from iPhone asked for it to work in Africa. I said that Africans have the means to pay for iPhones, but there aren't even any stores in Africa. But our sisters said, excuse me, they're always after the latest iPhone model. For what purpose? You're not even aware of yourselves. But let's try to manufacture. Let's try to understand, at least to copy. There are a lot of things that God has made available to humans. But we have to use our brains to transform things. If people enslaved us, we fell behind. But today, there's no explanation, there's no excuse. We have to catch up by copying. If we don't do it, it means we're refusing to use our brains. And if we refuse to use our brains, what does that mean? Do you know what that implies? It means we are against God. Because we're basically saying he was wrong to give us a brain. No, we don't need it. Let others do it. No, not that way. So what does that mean? We're saying that God made a mistake. And by taking that stance, we put ourselves as enemies of God. It's absurd. That's why he is angry with us. Wake up. Wake up. This is actually quite deep, but please don't laugh. He is angry with us because black people have used their brains. People would tell me, yes, black people have created things, and then that's it. The tricolor fairies, it was black people who created them. Yes, the factories that make that in Africa. All the fairies in Ouagadougou, it was wisdom, it's French. Black people created that. We are sick. All the devices today, MRI scanner, what else? What are we doing? We don't want to create, yes, but we don't want to copy either. Work our brains to try to understand and then do. Our brains are of no use to us. Honestly, it's like we're telling God that he was wrong to give us a brain. I don't agree with that. That's why I invite everyone to ask themselves questions, especially young people. I'm really talking to the youth so that we can change the paradigm. And we must seek knowledge, strive to produce, strive to be useful on earth. It's our knowledge. That's not too much, is it? That's not too much, is it? We have to take part. You see them today. Whether you like it or not, you see the war going on. Iran and the United States, they're sitting far apart and bombing each other. What have we created? But you see, it's black people who are the ones choosing, who are having debates. The United States, that's power. You can see it, that's power. What are you doing yourself? What are you creating? We can't focus. It's serious. Sometimes they do that. Let's think about how we can transform oil, how we can make clean energy to benefit from it. About what? Let's think. Those others, it's not like God came down for them to give them knowledge. It's the same brain that was given to them. But they decided to use their brains for a good purpose. But us, we told God that he was wrong to give us a brain. We didn't need it. We might as well leave it and let them do it. And the result? So now they come and manipulate us. They come to beat us, we fight among ourselves, and they take our resources and leave. Isn't that right? Just like villages were resettled in this region, here they had been chased away, then resettled. Today they're killing each other. They're fighting at the chief's place. Are we normal? From where? Sorry. No, honestly, it is perfectly fine. Because that same politician had already managed to ruin absolutely everything in the years leading up to this point. But now, thankfully, all of that is finally behind us now. We don't need to fight over these things anymore. So, I especially invite the youth to rethink our approach, so that we are no longer dependent on others, so that we are no longer left behind, and that we do many things. Because if we don't do it, we will disappear. We will disappear. Because if those people come back here, you'll envy the fate of the dead. You'll envy the fate of the dead, I swear to you. Even nature itself will turn against us. If today it starts raining in certain ways, we don't even have proper drainage. It means that if the sky just cries a little more than usual, all our cities are gone. If the earth just gets angry and shakes a little, all our buildings collapse because we haven't done anything. God has spared us from that kind of natural disaster. But why aren't we taking advantage of it? Look at the current geopolitical situation in the world. The smartest ones will understand something. This is the face of Africa. God has opened a window for us to find a way out. But people don't see it. They don't see it. And when we make the effort to speak up, to raise awareness, yes, the smartest ones understand, but you'll see the fools tomorrow, they'll insult us. They insult us, they mock us because there are some black people who are like, you see, it's as if we have seen black people chained to trees. Their master mistreats them, at night he talks. The ones chained to the trees are lying there. We say we're going to go save them. We do everything necessary to fight, crossing minefields, barbed wire, and everything. We arrive, we remove the chains, and we say, guys, follow us, we're leaving. Some will follow you, but there are some black people there, they will scream, oh, master, he came to save me. Come put my chain back on because I'm not causing any trouble. That's it, there are black people like that. Do whatever you want to break their chains. He will shout, oh, master, come, come, there's someone here who came to save me, to unchain me. Come put the chain back on, I prefer to stay with you. It's unfortunate. And I'm actually talking on the scale of Africa. It's unfortunate. I almost wasn't born because of the impact of these people. My grandmother, according to what I know of the story, was almost, I would say, at menopause, but she was able to have 2 children. Because she was over 50 years old. It was considered a miracle in their village. Why couldn't she have children? Because those people had taken them. She experienced colonial penetration here. And it was forbidden to have children or to get married. They killed almost all the men in the village. And it was only after independence that she was able to have her children. There was a very real chance that I might never have been born because of the massive impact they had on the world. And I was always very, very close to her, sharing a special bond. She told me a lot of things. I saw on her body the marks, the mistreatment, the traces left by those people. I was 10 years old when she passed away in 1998. So I feel the effects of colonization in my own flesh. And many of you know this as well. But some still continue to worship their wrongdoers who love them. They love them more than themselves. They love them more than their own brothers. That's what I don't understand. These people must be fought against. We must fight them without any feelings of love. But we are not going to turn souls. What they did yesterday to our ancestors, yesterday to our grandparents, what they make us live through today with terrorism, if we don't stay focused, what their children will make our children go through will be worse than hell. And we don't wish for that. So we have to fight. We have to fight and stop being traitors, people ready to sell out their country or whatever else. We must remain Burkinabe and stay focused. Thank God, I say it again, thank God we are lucky. It's that after these 4 years, we have been able to judge. That many people have understood the significance of our message, the meaning of our struggle here in Burkina, but even in Africa. And to those who continue to raise awareness, to campaign, to help people understand, to open people's eyes, I congratulate you and encourage you from now on. It's the only way to make people understand that it is possible. And through our actions, I think you can see that it is possible. We can make it. In any case, we will be launching programs soon, and you will see. We will build our countries, we will build our cities, we will build our roads, and we will live in peace. As for terrorism, it is the most deeply and tragically cursed black human race in all of history. People who, if they can't even come to terms with themselves, with their own intelligence, if they had even a little bit of brains, they'd let it settle. And then ask themselves, since you're drifting away, you come to kill our hearts. Is that what jihad is about? It's a grave. That's it, right? Okay. The Kalashnikov you used to kill love, did you make it yourself? It's for a kafre, you shouldn't use that. Go make your own knife and then come. You carve your own club, then it's you who made it. That's halal. You come, we'll fight. The vehicles you're driving, they're not yours. And you say you're doing jihad to kill the kafres. See how dishonest they are. And there are some who are in on it, fully aware of this. He's their leader, who know very well it's not true, and they're playing a different game. But the fools who get killed like that, every time I look at the reports from the front, the news from the front, I don't like seeing black people fighting. But that's all they deserve. That's all they deserve. Would we really like to see so many corpses? But they come to kill. In their stupidity. He comes, he shouts, so why can't we do the same in the name of God? But that weapon, it's for a kafir who made it. The woman you wanted, she's a kafir. If the leader can't sit down and think, he can still shout for him. You see what we're like. So that kind of species must disappear. That's why our forces are engaged, and they will eliminate them to the very last one. That has no effect. And Burkina is real, and it won't even take long. As I said, keep working hard. We've made progress, Burkina. But you see, I was speaking generally about Africa. It wouldn't be wise for Burkina to just follow. Move forward as it is doing. It should be a movement in our blood. But ouch. That's our limit here. That's the problem. And when we accomplish a lot, when we do a lot of things, it doesn't even please some of our own brothers. But well, regardless, I encourage you to stay focused. Work so that what we produce is what we consume, in light of what I have explained to you. Work to maintain social cohesion, to put patriotism above all other considerations, because we are human beings first and foremost. And every human must respect another human because of life, a life that you yourself cannot create. And those who come to take our lives or make our lives miserable, we will fight them with all our might. We are in a state of mind. Besides that, as for the rest, whether it's our resources or anything else we have, be sure of one thing. Burkina Faso is a mirror. I told you, others reflect themselves in us, and everyone is waiting to see. Let's move quickly. Let's prove to them that it's possible. Many African countries are waiting to see what we can do, whether we will succeed. Guys, let's move fast. Let's go. We will make it. Every time we do something, if there are people nearby, they bark. What do? Don't pay attention to them. When you travel, you don't stop to throw a stone at every dog that barks at you. No, keep going. In the end, they'll see where you've reached. That's what's most important.